So today I'm with Anthony Fassino of SunChain Energy. Anthony is an expert when it comes to solar. Now, Anthony, what brings you to New York City for this lovely real estate expo?
I'm looking to connect with really every mortgage broker I can meet, every realtor I can meet. Used to be in the mortgage business, and what drew me to solar was really just kind of, looking into it for my own house.
Sure.
So went down the rabbit hole, met with every company I could meet with, did my own research, and I realized I could write these loans myself. I have the finance background. I know what I'm doing, and I think that it's important for anybody that's looking into solar to know exactly what they're entitled to know.
Sure.
No stone should be left unturned, and I want to take an unregulated business and give you a feeling of regularity, and that's what I do. So I primarily write solar loans for buyers. So I treat it like a mortgage. I want your debt to income to match. I want you to be paying into the tax system so I can get your tax incentives. And I want you to no longer have a electricity bill in the future. So that's the goal. The goal is to eliminate an electricity bill. How am I going to do that? I'm going to write you a 15-year loan where you're going to pay the same number over 15 years. And at that point in time, you'll have no bill. No prepayment penalty. I attach them to your PSEG bill or your Con Ed bill, depending on where you're located. And the goal is to make this a seamless process where you can sell your house, make it real estate friendly, make it friendly for a mortgage lender, and make both the mortgage lender and the realtor comfortable with, guiding someone into solar. Because it is a great idea, but it has to be done properly.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. Doing something properly for somebody, giving them all the options that they can get, and putting them in a position of power.
One of the things that I found very interesting and is really just unique as far as you goes is you make it so educational. Like you make it a very educational approach. So I guess it's great that you have that finance background because you're very analytical. And even when you explained it to me, it's very interesting that there's a wide variety of products or like different ways and different directions you can go when it comes to solar. And you make it as transparent as possible, it seems like.
Absolutely. And one of the things I'm not afraid to do is walk away. Not every house is going to qualify. It's not for everybody. You may not be paying into the tax system. It may not be a move that you may want to make at that given time. And it's important to tell the person the truth. It's important. It's their house. They're going to put something on their roof for a long time. It has to be done properly. If you have an older roof, I would advise maybe against going solar until that roof is repaired.
So now, how old is like too old of a roof to where someone generally wouldn't qualify for solar? Is like a rule of thumb?
It depends on the roofer. It really does. Some roofers do a way better job than others, but you can tell. You can get on a roof and you can feel a little give in there. You're going to want a new roof. If the shingles are wearing, you're going to want a new roof. If your roof's more than 15, 20 years old, you want a new roof regardless of what anybody says, because everybody knows a roof's going to last 30 years.
Right.
So why would you want to put solar on your house when you're going to have to take the panels off and put them back on? People are going to tell you anything they want to tell you. That's
right.
For sure. They're gonna want you to go solar.
And what kind of warranties do you offer when it comes to solar?
So I actually just got American panels, so I'm excited about that. And
nice.
we use manufacturer warranties up to 30 years on the panels, and I have microinverters that'll go under every single panel, which actually track on real time on your phone. You get an app when you go solar, and you see in real time what each panel does, what each panel is producing. You'll know if an inverter's not, converting DC to AC properly. You'll know if a panel's, just wishy-washy and needs to be replaced. And you get manufacturer warranties, bumper-to-bumper coverage on those panels for 30 years, as well as a production guarantee as well. So if they're not producing what they should, it could just be a defect in the panel. Does it happen? Very, very rarely, but if it happens, we take care of you. You call
Excellent.
me, call me. That's the one thing about SunChain. Call me. I will be here. And being somebody that knows how the real estate business has gone over the last 20 years,
Sure.
You never know who's going to be here and who's not going to be here. And promises can be made, but having somebody that you can always call directly that lives nearby is always going to give you a level of comfort that nobody else can offer.
That's excellent. Excellent to hear. Now, as far as when it comes down to debt to income, I know we were talking a little bit about that. How does that factor in when it comes to solar?
So there's different ways of approaching, getting a loan for solar. I treat it like a mortgage. I want to make sure that you're going to be able to qualify. I want to make sure your credit is good enough to qualify, and if it's not, there will be debt to income, qualifications that are going to.
And what's the minimum credit score?
Minimum credit score, depending on the cost of the system, is actually 500.
Wow.
I have products.
That's pretty low.
It's ridiculous. But you know what? I'll tell you what. New York State does a great job. They offer loan products that are really just trying to help the buyer. You could have a 30-day late and still acquire solar. You could be in the position where you may think that all you can do is lease panels, and I'll come in and if I can get you to own those panels, I promise you that you will be so much happier in years to come.
Excellent. Another big question that I get hit with a lot. So first-time home buyers, when they close on a home, so they're just starting to understand that they have the largest monthly obligation being a new mortgage payment with their principal, interest, taxes, and insurance.
Yep.
So now, once those utilities start to kind of come into play based off of PSEG, your cable, internet, all the fun stuff, when do you feel is a good time to really start addressing solar to see if something like that would be a good move?
Well, I think everybody should wait, settle into your house, wait at least 6 to 8 months. People will knock on your door, guaranteed, the day you move in. They know you moved in, and they'll want the sale. But I think what's more important is understanding what your usage is. How often are you home? What do you plan on? What do you plan on in the future? You plan on having an electric car? You plan on, putting a hot tub in? Who knows? But sitting with somebody, about 6 to 8 months after they've received some electric bills, maybe got a summer bill already, went through a winter bill, gives me an advantageous approach to knowing who my client is. And that's important, because if I don't know my client and they don't know themselves, we don't have anything to work with.
Right.
And it's important to know more about the situation to then make a more educated decision moving forward. So
That's awesome.
I would say 6 to 8 months.
That's awesome. As opposed to just getting that homeowner and going right for the jugular, and of course allowing them to just settle in a little bit can give them more peace of mind to where now they can really take solar seriously.
Absolutely. And there are ways where I can, count how many lights you have, see how many microwaves and fridges, and see all the appliances in your house and kind of take an educated guess. So if you're in a if you're in a rush, I can try to make an educated guess. I would rather you sit there and get to know your home first.
Excellent. Well, there you have it. Now, what you have to let us know, Anthony, is where can the audience find you if they have more questions?
You can find me on Instagram and Fassino Solar. SunChain Energy is my other Instagram. And call me, 516-729-4340. I'll come, and at the very least, I love just explaining the process and educating you. And if you know friends or family that just moved into a house, somebody that's about to retire that still has those tax incentives that may not have them in a few years from now is the time. Now is the time to talk and see what we can do for you.
Awesome. Anthony, thanks for having
me.
Thanks a lot, bro.